Hey, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in to our show today. We're so excited to have you guys a part of this show today. Are you excited, Sharon, to have our guests a part of our show today?
Yes, I am.
Absolutely. So we're here and we're set to go on this beautiful
Yes,
Saturday.
beautiful Saturday.
Oh man, today is just a nice day to get out and go to the park and hang out with the kids and just enjoy this beautiful weather that we have today. I don't know about your part of the woods where you are, but over here it's a beautiful day and it's just an exciting day to do a podcast. And we're so excited that you guys have tuned in to be a part of our show today where we're conversating with Josh and Sharon, and we're just real people,
Yes, dealing with
real
real
issues.
issues.
So Sharon, what we got going? What we got cooking in the crock pot form today?
Yes, so for today we're talking about when life happens.
Absolutely. So when life happens, so y'all, this is our first official time going live. So y'all, work with us, and we're going to make sure that we speak into these mics and so you guys can get some quality sound and just get a good action-packed show. So we have some wonderful guests that are going to be on the show with us today. So Sharon, let's go ahead and introduce our guest that's going to be on the show today with us.
Yes, our guests for this morning will be GB and Katrina from the Greater Works Way.
Hey guys!
Good
Hey, how are you?
morning.
Oh, so excited to see you
Good
guys.
morning, good morning.
Oh,
Good
good
morning.
morning, good morning. We are so excited to have you all on this show today. How's your Saturday going?
All is well. All is well. Thank you. We
All is
appreciate you
very
guys
well.
asking. Thank you.
All is well, all is well. Now you all are in Orlando, Florida,
That's
and
correct.
we are in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. For those of you
Okay.
all that's listening that don't know where Murfreesboro, Tennessee is, Murfreesboro, Tennessee is right outside of Nashville, the big city of Nashville, Tennessee. So, how is the weather over there where you all are, GB?
It's very comfortable. It's about 74 degrees right now, little cool breeze, and it's
Absolutely.
supposed to be about 84, 85. So, how's the weather there where you are?
So far the weather is good, and we're looking for it to be pretty clear and nice sunny day. And we're excited about the day. We have an action-packed day. After the podcast this morning, we're going to do a little
Okay.
cooking, and we're going to.
It's a neighborhood
Yeah,
gathering.
we have actually with the neighborhood
Okay.
that we live in. We have a neighborhood gathering tonight. So it's kind of like the old
Bring a
school,
dish.
right? The old school people use the word bring potluck. so
Okay.
Yeah.
so everybody in the neighborhood is kind of like bringing a dish, and it's gonna be like a gathering. So this is our first time attending.
Yes.
So we're excited. We're gonna do up a little something something
Get the
and
kitchen
bring it on.
popping.
All right.
Do
I
our
like it.
thing.
I like it. Well, save us a
Absolutely.
plate. Please save us a plate.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
I tell you, like I tell my aunt, I'll mail it to you, but you might not want it when it get there. So we're excited. Facebook, we're excited. YouTube, and everybody that's following us around the social media world. We thank you all. We're so grateful that you guys would take part of your Saturday morning and just tune in to us. I know some of you are getting your dishes ready for the weekend. We're getting ready to go into first Sunday. A lot of churches are probably going to be doing communion, and everybody just it's going into the first of a new month. It could be a new start for many people. Somebody might want to put off the old and put on the new, and just do something different in their life. So it just I don't know about you, but it just seems like it's that excitement feeling in the air.
Yes.
Do anybody feel that besides me? I just feel that uh, that excitement feeling. So we do have a action-packed show for you all today, and we are going to let Sharon just kind of introduce the topic that we're talking about, dealing with these. So we're going to be dealing with what's the topic that we're dealing with today, Sharon?
When life happens.
When life happens. So we're talking about life, and if I could just talk about the difference between when life happens and when life happens. Katrina,
Okay.
life is how is life happening for you all today? When life happens and when is life happening right now?
Life is really, really. As you know, I probably got like 50 million gadgets over here in the background there. So, it's like life is really, really happening right now. It's like,
listen, I understand where you are coming from, because for us, we have some gadgets and we're just trying to fumble here and fumble there, and we're on this live, but we're gonna make this thing happen, and we're gonna fool with these gadgets. So if y'all see me look away, don't pay me no attention. We are super excited because God have brought us a mighty long ways.
Yes.
And
Amen.
life is happening. You understand?
Yes, it is.
This happening right here is exciting happening, because sometimes when life happens for folks, unfortunately, the excitement part of it have been stolen from them. And the object of what I want to conversate with you all today about is to be able to distinguish, if we can bring some type of clarity to when life happens versus when life happens. So there's a life happening where there's an expectation of things that you plan and things that you want to do in your life. And we make plans all the time to do different things in our lives, and we set goals. I was talking to our guests about how we set goals in our life, and some of us we tend to set annual goals, and then we set monthly goals to achieve the annual goals. Then we have those weekly goals and bi-weekly goals and daily goals that help us achieve each goal. And as we begin to set these goals and begin to act on these goals and begin to act on the strategy that has been set in motion to achieve the goal. And sometimes when we're doing things and everything is going right in our life, all of a sudden life happens.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it can deviate us from what we had set out to do.
Mm-hmm.
And many people, unfortunately, in my point of view, GB, many people, when life happens to them and seem to knock them off the train tracks,
yes,
they tend to not have the tools. And that's what I want to help people today. I want to help people with having the tools that they need to not just having the tools, but to be able to use the tools effectively to fix that derailed train and get that train back on the track and get that train back steaming and rolling again and full force to the destination that is planned out for their lives.
right.
So many of us, we have a destination, that a purpose that has been set apart for each of us as individuals. And we have a goal to get there, and we have goals to get there, but sometimes we get deviated from our goals and the vision seems to be put off, and it takes us longer to get there than perhaps it should have taken us to get there. So when these things happen, I would like to expound on, if we could, for a few minutes on the tools that are necessary, that when we have vision and purpose, when we fall off track and we fall off the vision, what are some tools that we can use? We can kind of elaborate on a little bit on to help somebody to see that they have, number one, see that they have fallen off, right? Because a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people, they fall off and they don't even realize they have fallen off. And
Right.
Sometimes we, from the outside looking at the situation, we can see where they have fell off at, but they don't see that they have fell off because they're in the situation. And there are some tools that's out there that can help people get back on track in their lives to where they can get where they need to be, which is that ultimate destination.
Exactly. And if we can chime in on that, and I know GB has some great inputs to kind of piggyback on that too, is life does happen.
Yes.
You know, and I remember my pastor down in the St. Pete area, Apostle Ellis R. Hodge, he would say, you know, when life happens, sometimes there's just not any explanation, you know, it just happens.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the only thing you can say, because, you know, a lot of times people will say, well, why me, or why us, or why now, or why this? You know, look at the state of our world right now with the pandemic. You know, none of us thought that was going to be happening 2 years ago. You know, we didn't think we were going to have to get vaccinated and go in isolation and wear masks all the time. And, you know, it's like, we didn't know we were going to have to formulate a new normal way of living, you know? But can anyone say we knew that was coming? Can anyone say when it's going to go away?
Absolutely.
It happened. And also, just to kind of put a pin on that too, Josh and Sharon, I don't know. First of all, did we say thank you? Maybe he said thank you when I pulled it.
Oh, no. I said a lot of things while you were gone for at least an hour. So I mean,
hey, we thank you.
We greatly appreciate you all. We do.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for having us on.
Let's do that again. Thank you for having us.
No, thank you for coming on. Right.
And sharing this awesome platform that you all have. Let's Conversate with Josh and Sharon. Really, really love what you all are doing around the world. We shared it to our Facebook page. I don't know if you all have your phones there. If you want to kind of share it, you know, you go to the business page for Let's Conversate, and then you'll see the live there. Make sure you turn your volume down, because I didn't.
Absolutely.
And I had some sound effects, and my husband had to go, turn that off. But we ain't gonna tell y'all about his phone ringing in the background. Anyhow, but if you all want to go ahead and just hit that like, and of course hit that share button, and share this to your Facebook page, your personal pages, we would appreciate it. I know Josh and Sharon would appreciate it. Hey, let's let everyone know life happens, and today we're gonna just lay it down, real talk, and how real people, you know, have dealt with life happens.
Absolutely.
And hopefully by the time our show and this podcast is over, you've been empowered, encouraged, first of all, to not give up on life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Because I know sometimes, you know, and none of us are immune to states of time where you just feel like I'm just done, you know, but never, ever give up on life when life happens.
Absolutely.
All right. As long as you got breath, you have an opportunity to come back, you know. And a lot of times, I'm not going to say a lot of times, all the time, as long as God is giving you breath, your comeback will be much stronger than whatever happened when life happened. Would you agree? What do you guys think?
Beautiful.
And as far as the life happening, as the topic says, I take both sides of the fence when it comes to the issue of problem solving. I look at both sides of the fence. That way I'm always prepared for whatever's about to happen. And I think a lot of folks kind of don't necessarily do that in every situation.
Right.
And in my aspect on that is every situation you should be prepared.
Absolutely.
You have a foundation. He's given that to us, you know, and use your foundation. Look at what's the worst thing that could happen. Look at what's the best thing that could happen. And then now you know both the outcomes, so that whenever adjustment you need to make on the fly, as they say, you can adjust to it.
Absolutely.
So, you know, he didn't, you know, I think Josh used the word in the pre-thing, set up. He didn't set us up for failure. He set us up to be positive and role models in other people's lives, as well as the future generations coming forward around the world.
That's right.
And in your family and in your workplace. He never set us up for failure. And if you stay with that mindset, all the negatives that you think that are happening, you turn them around into positives, and you can see what's going on.
Exactly.
So I'll just leave on that note as far as the first topic of discussion.
Right.
Absolutely. Even in my life happening, let me just share my story with you real quickly. So I travel. I'm originally from the state of Florida, and many people that know me, we're here in Tennessee, and a lot of people wonder, like, well, Josh, how you got here to Tennessee? Well, number one, the topic says it all. Life happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometime in life, and I'm saying this here to drive a point that people probably can pull from this. Sometimes we do things because we have a destination in mind. I'm reminded also, the saying about the GPS system, right? So when you take a GPS system, everybody knows, some people have heard this before. You take the GPS system, and in the GPS system, you type in a destination, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the GPS system, when you type in a destination for the GPS system, you're headed to the destination. The GPS system is going to route you away to get to the destination system, which is probably more the easier way, or the more logical way to make the more probably like the best route for you to get there with less distractions, less problems on this route. But one thing that happens along the GPS knows the route that it's taking you on. And if you follow the route, then you'll get to your destination, ideally, right? But sometimes the GPS might see something that lies ahead that you don't yet see. Right. But and then don't get into those, right? Don't get into those familiar places or whatever the case may be. And the GPS is trying to take you one way, but you be like, oh, I know this right here. I'm gonna go this way because this is faster.
Getting ahead of it.
Absolutely. So the GPS is taking you that way for a reason, because it already knows what lies ahead of you. But sometimes we get in our own way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get in, and we try to take alternate routes or whatever that we think will be faster, and sometimes that just leads us down a dead end where we run into a brick wall, right? So then the GPS have to re-navigate us and redirect us and give us another path to go on to get us back to the ultimate place what we're trying to get to.
Yes.
But GB and Katrina is sharing what I have, come to realize is that some people, when they run down that brick wall, or when they get into those dead end situations, and some people tend to give up or get frustrated.
Exactly.
But what I want everybody to really understand is that when life happens, no matter what happens, you ultimately get to the destination. You can get there. Even if you stop and sit there for a long time, eventually you get up and get going again. What you did was just delay the process, right?
Right.
But ultimately, we're going to get there. And sometimes it reroutes us because there's stumbling blocks, there's obstacles, there's traffic jams, or there's accidents, there's things that's up the road that will hold us up. But if we stay the course, then we will ultimately get there. Also, so when I came from Florida here to Tennessee, I came here, and the Lord allowed me to come here to be to help with a work, to do a work, and then some things transpired, right? And life happened, as we so wonderfully stated in the topic. And what I thought I came up here to do, or the period of time I thought I came up here to do what I came up here to do, might not necessarily be in the plan that God had.
Right.
So God had to reroute me, right? And then sometimes life happens. Absolutely.
You get comfortable being in a place. Mm-hmm. When God is trying to pull you out of a place, you can stay there longer than you ought to.
Absolutely.
Good point.
That's a very good point. And we have to, sometimes we get caught up with the sounds of traffic, right? That's good right there. Sometimes we get caught up with the sounds of traffic in our ear, right? This one's saying this, that one's saying that. This one has an opinion about this, that one has an opinion about that. And the voice that we really need to be listening for. You ever be driving in your car? Oh, watch this. You ever be driving in your car and you're going somewhere that you've never been before, right? But you got your GPS going and you're driving along, but you got your music going and you missed the turn because you did not hear the GPS say turn right. You didn't hear the GPS say turn left. It was too much traffic in your ear. So my point is we need to minimize some of the traffic that's flowing in our ear. That way we can hear the GPS that's routing us on the destination that we have plugged in where we're trying to get. So when life happened, right? So when life happened here, if I wouldn't be hearing the small voice, then I wouldn't be here where we are now today with you all. Right? So life happened, and when I thought it was turning for bad, it's always you can always find good in a bad situation. You can always find good in a situation that seems like it's not working out like you thought it should work out.
Right. And that's key too, Josh, because you hit the head on the nail. Find good. You know, GB had mentioned earlier about being on both sides of the fence. He does that because if life happens and it doesn't go the way I need it to go, he will still find something good in it. You know, and if it goes the way you want it to go, he'll still find, you know, a lot of times people say, well, if you on both sides of the fence, you're just trying to play it safe. No, that's just called being wise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why stress your heart more than you need? You know, and he's teaching me a lot of that. Sharon could attest to this. We both work in healthcare professionally, you know, and on any given day, you can have situations happen that you didn't plan, right?
That's true. Absolutely.
Right.
Yes,
I agree.
And we have protocols and systems in place to address those things when they happen, you know, whether it be a 911 or I think you do phlebotomy, right, Sharon?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So what do you do? Like, you know, you hit the vein and the vein don't want to stop.
Okay, 911, but I'm not going to panic.
Good point.
I'm not going to panic because that's somebody's life in my hands. So I refuse to panic in a situation like that. And I would just move with wisdom. In all honesty, I would just move with wisdom to make sure that this person survives. You know, I don't want anything to happen on my watch or on my time for anybody. And
that's a good point, because that fits in well with when obstacles and when we have to go on a detour. We have to get off the course that we're supposed to be on to go around something that, you know, might hinder us longer. We can't panic. And then, you know, it's sad to say, but a lot of people do panic. And what I want people to really, you know, understand and realize is that at the end of this thing, you have a destination in mind, right? And sometimes you have the route set, and it says on the GPS that you're going to get there at a certain time. You plan this thing out. But life does happen where you might not get there at a certain time that you planned. That's right. It's delayed.
Yeah, delays.
So you might not get there, but don't get weary in your well-doing, right? So continue on the path. Stay on the path. We fall many times, but it ain't about the fall. It's about the get up. You know.
Come on now. So, that's what I'm talking about. The get up.
It's all about the get up.
Get up again.
Right.
And the get up to get you ready for the setup, like you said, right?
There you go, to get up and get you ready for the setup. So I tell you, I do have to give a shout out to my brother E.D. Bryan. We call him the counselor on this show, and he introduced this topic to me, and we flowing with it because life does happen. You know, and for us, you know, and each and every one of us, we could just take a moment to inventory our personal lives, and we could just, it don't take long to think about some things where life happened, then life happened, right? So life happened. It seemed like that the end of our road was coming, or it seems like, you know, stress and despair was there.
Yeah.
It seems like that we're not accomplishing anything. It seemed like that we're spinning around like a dryer or a washing machine in spin cycle. It seemed like just nothing is going right, no matter what we set out to do, because life has happened, right? But then it became a setup, right? If we stay the course, it became a setup for when life happens. And when life happens, there's good things come out of it, right? Even in the bad, when you look back at it, you say, man, I'm glad that worked out because it set me up for this right here. So, you know, things happen when we came up here, like I said, and, you know, we had certain things that we was out to do and trying to do and be a part of. And then life happened, and it seemed like everything just went kind of like discombobulated for a minute. And we could have sat there and marinated in that, but what for? Because at the end of the day, we knew that we had purpose, right? And in this life. So if we wouldn't have continued on with purpose, we wouldn't be sitting here with this podcast. We wouldn't know the greater works. We wouldn't, you know, have a design and marketing and editing team such as wonderful people like yourself, you know, that's standing behind us and pushing what we're doing, seeing the vision that we have, you know, and the mandate that's on our lives, right? So, and because life happened, and then life happened, right? Right. We took something, the life happened that seemed like it was a bad situation, or it was going bad, or it was going south. And out of that, we was able to pull what we needed out of it to prepare us. And basically, like I said, back to the train track, we pulled the tools, right? We pulled the tools from that. We repaired the train and the cart. We repaired it and we got it back on track. And now we're full steam in the head again.
Exactly.
But we have to remember, right? We have to remember, even in this, life still can happen.
Yes.
Right? And things can come up to set us off course. Right? But we have to remember that even though things come up, at the end of this thing, there is a destination in mind that we got to get to. And the only thing that can hurt us if we never get back up and continue to try, continue to strive for perfection and continue to make our lives better. If we never get back up and try anything, we just lay there in the sea of, oh, and nothing ain't working out for me. This ain't happening. I can't accomplish nothing. Everything I try seems to fail. If we sit there in that, then that's pretty much what we're going to get out of it. Wouldn't you agree?
Right.
Correct.
And you know, with that, Josh, it's important because I believe everybody can identify life does happen. But where I know in times past when I personally have dealt with life happening, I also had to, like you just said it perfectly, I had to activate some tools that, although life has happened, I can't get stuck here at this roadblock. I got to make a decision, left, right, forward. I don't believe backing up is an option unless backing up to go left or right. You know? So I wanted to ask, you know, us that are here and those of you that are listening on as well, what are some tools that we could use when life happens? I don't mean hammer and nails and stuff like that, unless, you know, life is happening and you're building a house, you know. But it's interesting. What you know, like Sharon, Josh, Judy, Katrina, all of you out there, you know, Michael, LaShawn, I saw you all on there too. What can we do when life happens? Who can we go to? Do we need to read a book? Do we need to go eat? Do we need, you know, my thing is French fries. And, you know, sometimes life happens. I just need some comfort food, you know, to settle me down. Absolutely. And then I can think a little different, you know. I mean, French fries with honey mustard.
This is true.
You know, cheese. Ain't talking about just regular French fries. I go all out because I'm at a crossroad here and I got to make a decision. Absolutely. So, you know, Sharon, what if each of us can like give one thing that maybe you do when life happens? Not y'all don't go get French fries.
I don't need no French fries, but but y'all ain't got to talk about me like that. You know, listen here. before Sharon go, listen here, everybody that's out there in Facebook Live and all you all that's on YouTube, don't be looking at me judging me. All right. If I want me some French fries, give me some French fries.
I know that's right.
Well, for me, I am a reader and I pray. So when life happens to me or in situations that I feel overwhelmed or stressed, I will walk. And in my walking, I would just commune with the Father, on how to strategize what I'm going through. Sometimes in life, we pick up other people's burdens as well, and we carry that. Mm-hmm. And we have to, I would say, just turn it over to God in prayer, and He will give us that guidance that we need. He will give us that strength that we need. He will give us that comfort that we need for us to endure. There's nothing too big nor small that He cannot fix. So in times when I feel overwhelmed or stressed, I just take it to the Lord in prayer. Mm-hmm. Prayer is the answer. Prayer is the key. Mm-hmm. It's the key.
And then absolutely, prayer is definitely the key. One of the things I like to do, when life happens, it depends on what's happening, right? You know what I mean? Because you could have, this happening that kind of set you in this mode, right? And then you can have this here happening. When I do this here, this is the low happening, things that seem like they're not going right. Same things seem like they're kind of going like, against what you're set out to do. But then you got the life that happens up here. So different things, that may occur that may prompt me to do different things to react to it. And I'm a big walker. I know here in Tennessee, it gets a lot colder than it does in Florida. So these from
just a wee bit colder, right? Just a wee bit.
So from November to now, I kind of went on a workout break. It was a little longer than I intended. But I'm back, y'all. I'm telling y'all listen. Y'all keep tuning in to these shows, and y'all gonna see my transformation right before your eyes. Because when life happens, I do like to walk. I do like to run. I want to get away from eating because like in the winter months when life happens, I like to eat. So kind of get away from that. So that's kind of how I deal with it.
Okay. I'm going to piggyback off of what you stated about what happened and whether it's a decision I have to make as far as long term that's going to happen later. Yes, prayer helps when it comes to that, and then setting up a game plan for that. But then also there's the instantaneous, what do I do right now to get myself out of this situation?
Right.
And again, prayer. But also after that, that's when now the enlightenment comes in from after prayer. There's a game plan, and what are you doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah, what you gonna do now?
What is the problem, and who is it affecting? Is it affecting me? Is it affecting her? Is it about my family? And like you said, I compartmentalize all that and make different avenues. And back to the preparation, I prepare for each situation. So if off of that, as you stated, the downward that takes you upward. If you're going up and you go down again, you already have that answer for that avenue because you already thought about it.
Absolutely.
You pray about that.
Absolutely. This is definitely. You can say something, Katrina?
No, I was just gonna kind of piggyback on what GB had just said, and Michael's out there listening. Thank you, Michael. LaShawn's out there listening too. Thank y'all guys for tuning in and sharing this podcast. Thank you for all that you all are doing to support Josh and Sharon. We believe in their vision. Amen. We really do. And we know that God is doing some great things because He got us with them.
Absolutely.
And great things do happen the greater works way. But absolutely. Michael said something too. Regroup.
Yeah.
Yes, don't, like GB said, don't allow yourself to stay there. What do I need to do now? In addition to the prayer, in addition to the walking and knowing when to, just put a little movement to that life happening. I would also just like to add, getting with someone other than myself that I know I can trust, You know, whether it be a pastor, a minister, a counselor. My minister in the home is my husband. You know, so I'm always bouncing things off of him and talking to him.
Absolutely.
But get with someone that will not tell you what you want to hear.
That's true.
You know, and a lot of times my husband, he'll come to me and he'll say, babe, you know, he'll empathize, but then he'll say, I would do it this way, or I would change this, you know, and it may not be what I want to hear in terms of it's different than what I'm saying, but it's the truth, you know.
Absolutely.
And to regroup, you need sound counsel. Proverbs tell us to seek sound counselors that are not going to tell us what we want to hear, but going to tell us the truth. Because the whole goal is to get out of where we are and we get on to that road that God has for us. And that goes for even our children experience that. You know, they open up their hamburger and they see just meat. You know, and some kids spaz out, you know, if they don't see cheese or lettuce or tomatoes or onions or whatever, you know, but you got to let them know, hey, when things happen, and it will, and teach them early. I've just seen adults that that really have challenges dealing with life issues because a lot of those things weren't taught when they were a child.
That is true. Absolutely.
So, you know, and I'm like my daughter, for example, my grandson, he's 2, but she's already teaching him, you know, it's like, just because you go in the refrigerator, that don't mean you're going to get what you want. And when you don't get it, you don't throw yourself on the floor and have a tantrum, you know. Let's talk about it and see what you need. So I would just say Michael hit it great. Regroup and find someone that you can connect with, that you can trust. Keyword, trust. You don't want to hear your business on Facebook.
That part.
That's true.
Absolutely. And I go ahead.
Yeah, I'm done.
No, I was just going to piggyback right on off you. Keep it moving there with Michael. You know, I appreciate that comment because it is about regrouping, and people have to remember to do that. You know, when life happens. You know, again, you know, to kind of put a cap on everything. When we set out to do something, we have a destination in mind, and we have to remember that on our way to our destination, we are en route to get there. We're going down a path that was designed for each and every one of us individually. And as we go down that path, the GPS, you know, the navigator knows what lies ahead, and it knows what lies ahead, and it knows what you're coming to. And sometimes it will redirect you and put you on another path, but ultimately it's still getting you to the destination. But when you get on another path, you can't think that life have happened to where everything is ruined. No, you just have to regroup, right? You have to see the process. You know, you have to say, okay, you know, this here might have happened to hinder me. This here might have happened to slow me down, but I still have a destination. I still have a purpose. I still have a vision. I still have the means. I still have the help. I still have the wise counsel. I still have all these tools. Right? Them tools to ultimately arrive to where I have set out to go in life.
Right.
Some of the tools that you have, you might not need right now, but you have them in your bag.
Absolutely.
Back to just having them there prepares you for the next phase. In fact, if you need it, you grab it.
Absolutely.
I just had an epiphany when he said that. Okay, and first of all, I want to give a compliment to Michael and Katasha. I thought it was Michael hyphenated Katasha, but Michael is with Katasha. Thank you all so much for that input. He just said a mouthful, and Josh and Sharon, I can't wait to hear you all comment on this. But when he was saying you may not need the tools now, but later, that reminds me a lot of our elders in our lives, okay? Like our grandparents, you know, the mothers in the church, you know, the deacons in the church. You know, the ones that may not dress like we dress now, or, you know, their hair may be gray because it's really their hair and not
Yeah,
red or
absolutely.
green or whatever.
Right.
But I'm telling you, they have some wisdom. And you know, God says nothing is new under the sun, you know?
Right.
Lights been getting cut off ever since lights came on.
Good
You
point.
know,
Good point.
houses were being foreclosed ever since houses were being built. So they've
Correct.
seen a lot of stuff that we as the
This generation.
this generation, thank you. I didn't want to give my age,
The
but this
next
generation,
generation.
thank you, honey. I'm gonna be,
Right.
I don't want to make sure you all see the
She said, "Thank you."
but we gotta listen to our grandparents. If you all
Absolutely.
have grandparents in your lives, if you have, you know, that
Keep them
mother
close.
figure, that father figure,
Call them, checking
man,
on them, man. Checking
check on them.
Yeah, call them.
Absolutely.
Talk to them. Do
Yeah.
not discount them. I mean, they are. Those are the tools that God put on this earth for us.
Right.
That is absolutely,
know?
absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah.
What y'all got to say about
Yeah,
that?
what do you have to say about that?
I'm gonna take that because it was so profound that you brought that in, and again, like for me, the older folks, I was raised by my grandparents. You know, me, my brothers, and you know, my
Okay.
sister. We was raised by that older generation. So I mean, if anybody appreciate grandparents, I'm definitely a person that appreciate the older generation because you know the older people have wisdom. You know, and they're filled with so much wisdom. Like my grandfather, I use him a lot to redirect me, to help redirect me in certain
Right.
things, you know, because life is happening, right? Sometimes you can go and you don't talk to these people for a while or a few days or whatever the case may be. You know, they're praying for you and keeping you covered and stuff like that. But life is happening. And I'm going about everyday life, and then it seems like when something comes up and I don't have an answer for, you know, we pray and we talk to, you know, God and everything, and we listen for that small, still voice. But sometimes, if I can be truthful, I don't know about other people. Sometimes you want to, you know, hear somebody that's right here with you, you know,
Right.
such as another human being, and kind of get intake on things, input on things that you might be dealing with in life. And for me, my grandfather is that person, you know, that I go to, especially
Right.
if I need you know, a biblical sense on something that might be occurring in my life, you know, and God, I feel like God leads me to him, you know, to seek wise counsel, right? You know, so, you know, Proverbs always talk about, you know, it's good to seek out wise counsel. And the person that don't want wise counsel, you know, the Bible calls them Brutus. You know, if you look up Brutus, you get the definition of that. You know what I mean? So we don't want to be labeled that. We want to be labeled as those that can take counsel to help us in some sense of redirecting us back on track when we fall off track. And so I'm definitely grateful for the older generation, and we better take advantage of the older generation because they're getting out of here, you know.
Yeah,
That's the next thing.
So
Yeah.
they're getting out of here, and right, and depending on our generation for wise counsel, ooh, that's a whole nother deal. So listen, everybody, I am just, you know, excited, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you all that tunes in, all of you out there on Facebook, all of you out there in YouTube that's giving your comments. Oh, it's so welcome, you know, and we're getting used to this thing, and we see your comments, and we appreciate you. We appreciate your prayers. We appreciate everything that you guys are, you know, doing to support us, and we just love you, Katrina and GB. We just, you know, y'all are just our people, you know, and God is really using you all to help us to make this such a success. And you know, every time it's getting better and better and better, right?
Higher and higher.
So, you know, so if I could just, you know, conclude this with, you know, when life happens, and when life happens, know that you're not at your end, right? It's just a setback and a detour for the setup that's going to launch you into your future self. How you choose to deal with that
Right.
It's totally up to you as an individual.
Yes.
You can deal with that laying down, or you can deal with it standing strong. And we choose to deal with life standing strong, right?
Yes.
And if I can't
Yes.
say anything else to you, we're going to continue to look up, right?
Right.
To the hills
Right.
from which our help comes from, knowing where all our help comes from the Lord. And we just thank God for each and every one of you. Thank God for our guests that came to be a part of this talk. We
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank
Absolutely. You all are so awesome. We're going to do this here over and over and over again. You know, I told you all this morning before we came on air, we're not letting you all go nowhere.
Y'all family.
Yeah, y'all are family. Absolutely. Y'all are family.
We'll have to build an extra room for you guys.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, and when we hear you all are grilling, don't be surprised if you don't see up and down Highway 10.
Absolutely. And I just want to give a shout out here to my wife, and just I want to tell her thank you for supporting the vision that God gave to me. You know,
Amen.
God gave me the vision. You are supporting it. I'm grateful, and I get on her nerves a lot because I just be pressing. I press, and I'm sure it's the time she wants to tell me you go on and do it, but she don't. I'm just grateful for the cast, right? The cast that God has surrounded me with to put forth the vision to talk about real life issues. Because listen, everybody that's still tuned in, and we thank you all for staying to the end of this, because we're just ordinary people, right? That's dealing with what?
Real issues.
Real issues.
That's it. So we're on every Saturday at 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And we ask you all to tell somebody that Josh and Sharon is on. And we hope you all continue to support us and continue to support the Greater Works Way in their vision that God has for them, because of their humbleness and their obedience to the Spirit to come and help us. God is going to continue to elevate them, not to the next level, but the next dimension.
Yes.
So we are very excited about what God is doing in their lives. All right. So until next time, we thank you. We hope something that we said that you can take and apply it to your life, and that you all can use it. So until next time, deuces.
Bye.